Yo, what is up, guys? Zach here from TrueForm, back at you with another workout. Today we have a 30-minute strength workout, a little mix between strength and metabolic work. What you need access to is either a pair of dumbbells, a pair of kettlebells, a mixture of both, a set of bands, just really one band, but I have a medium to heavy one and a lighter one, and a foam roller. So it's a little equipment intensive in terms of you got to have multiple parts, but bare minimum here, have a pair of dumbbells, and if you can, have a band, and bring your body and bring your energy. Like I said, it's going to be a strength metabolic circuit, so we have 6 exercises, no warm-up. The warm-up is built in, I should say. So with these 6 exercises, we have 4 rounds. The first round is 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off. Next one is 45-15. Then we go back to 30-40, 30-30, and finish with the last round, 45 seconds, 15 off. So the way it's going to work is this first set of 30 seconds on, 30 seconds off is going to be your built-in warm-up, kind of progressively finding the weights, finding what works, finding the intensity. That second round, that 45 seconds, start to ramp it up. Then we go back to 30 seconds, build a little more strength, a little more coordination, and then that last round is just going to be going all out, controlled, but really pushing it for that full metabolic effect. I'll go through the movements in a second. We have some mini breaks in between. Hang in there. Let's get this together. Grab your dumbbells in 2, 1. We got RDL to shrug. So grab a pair of dumbbells, feet underneath your hips, toes forward, hips back, back flat, chest is up, head is neutral, driving through your glutes, and then finish with a shrug at the top. Remember, like I said, first round is really getting a stretch, getting some extra, or getting that warm-up in there, some coordination with our mind-muscle connection. So in the later round, second, even third, and fourth round is where we start to ramp it up. Breathe and breathe and breathe in. Make sure you're pushing those toes in the ground. Nice flat base. So we have a little bit shorter work time, a little bit longer, or maybe longer than what we actually need because we're not super fatigued right now in 30 seconds. So prepare yourself for the next round. Next move is going to be cleans. We're going to grab the dumbbells again. Again, if you only have kettlebells, only have one, that's fine. The way the program's worked out, grab a pair of dumbbells for 5 seconds. We're going to do dumbbell cleans. I'll finish explaining in a second. Same setup here, except instead of just standing up, you're going to pop back into a shrug, kind of quarter squat position, flashlight position with the dumbbells, stand up, and replace back down. So dumbbell clean with a little pop and lock here. I'll show you one more rep. If you need to, you can always go just one dumbbell, so put your fingertips underneath the dumbbell, start the RDL, and then sweep your hands to the side. Either way works, 2 or 1, and rest it up. So I was trying to say, with these 6 moves, 3 of them are building off each other, semi-competing. So we have dumbbell to shrug, or deadlift to shrug, clean, and now we're going to finish with the front squat. So if you look, kind of warmed up that posterior chain, glutes, hamstrings. Then we exploded that posterior chain. And now we can really attack it with a little bit harder variation with not the complexity, the hardness of it, but your ability to get a lot of reps in 30 seconds with this front squat here. So flashlight position, hips back, back flat. Instead of hinging, now we're squatting. But the hinge built off the squat, as we want a slight push back of those hips to engage those glutes, engage those hamstrings as we come down. 10 seconds here. Remember, like always, push up on those dumbbells, get those biceps, the lats, triceps involved. Makes it a little bit easier, makes it more of a full body movement. 30-second break. We're moving fast. So that was your, I don't want to call it lower body circuit, but lower body 3 moves. Now we move into a little more upper body activation with 3 moves that build off each other, just like we did with the deadlift, clean, and then squat. Now we have a half windmill, some shoulder press with the bands, and then floor press here. I'm going to show you guys with a kettlebell, but if you only have access to a dumbbell, that's fine. You're going to start in a half kneeling position, 99, those legs. Clean the kettlebell or dumbbell up. Press the kettlebell dumbbell above your head. Eyes on your fingertips. If you have the range of motion, go elbows down to the ground into that windmill, or start and stop with your hand flat on the ground. But eyes always looking up to the ceiling, pressing that palm up into the ceiling like you're trying to touch it. All right, keep that shoulder in a nice position, strong position here. This move in particular, go lighter. I'd rather you have you go lighter, really create that mind-muscle connection, understand what you're doing, rather than move it through fastly or progressing with weight a little bit too quickly. So we got the shoulder warmed up there. Don't worry that we just did one side. We have multiple rounds. So we'll go on the other side in the later rounds. Grab your band here. It's going to be a banded Y press. So feet underneath you, band underneath the arches. Front racket here, palms to the ceiling. Press it up into a Y, just like you would with the YMCA. Got a little bit lighter band, a red band to show you. You can always start light and go heavy. I'm doing this a little bit more so you can see it contrasting against my black outfit. And I go into the side view here. I might be doing a little bit, but try not to arch your back. Remember, bucket of water, neutral hips, pushing back. If anything, kind of have your hips behind you slightly, especially as the band starts to get a little bit heavier. And again, push those palms up to the ceiling. Last move here before a little bit of a break, floor press with the foam roller. All right, so you can place the foam roller on the ground. I have a little bit longer foam roller, but if you just have if you have a shorter foam roller, make sure it starts at least at your waistline and goes to the top of your head or as far up as it goes. Place the dumbbells on your thighs, leaning back here, and then you're pressing up to the ceiling just like you would with a chest press. I love the foam roller for multiple reasons. One, if you don't have access to a bench, all right, this elevates you off the ground, allows you to get a little bit more range of motion here with the dumbbells, and also provides a little extra mobility and some upper back support and stretching, because the weight of the dumbbells are obviously pushing you down towards the foam roller. So now we get a nice stretch in the back, in the head, and the neck, and it's providing some relief there and activation and postural alignment. I was a little bit too far up. I like this long foam roller because traditionally if I did it right the first time or start a little bit lower, my butt's on the foam roller, my head is on the foam roller, head all the way down to my waist is a nice straight line. If you haven't noticed, there is a minute rest here, 35 seconds left. And that was the first round. We got 4 rounds total. Remember, we moved through this round of 30 on, 30 off fairly quickly. You might be a little confused, but that's the purpose, right? You learn it. You're never going to get anything right and perfect the first time, right? We're building it up, building up our mind, building up our body for the later rounds, the meat and potatoes. We want to finish strong. Right? A lot of workouts are designed where you start really hard and fast and you end very poorly. That's not how I do things. In 5 seconds, we're going to start in the second round. Same moves, 45 seconds of work. All right, 15 rest. So grab your dumbbells, RDL to shrug, hips back, back flat, chest up. A couple options here. You can go the same speed. Because we have an extra 15 seconds, you will get a few more reps. You can also go a little heavier. All right, I'm just using the same set of dumbbells for all 4 rounds. But this was my workout. In terms of if I was doing this as my workout, I'd probably have multiple sets. I'm fortunate enough to have multiple sets of dumbbells, so I'd probably go pretty heavy here. 10 more seconds, a little bit less, actually 5 seconds. Last rep. But even though we're going faster, 2, 1, and or heavier, doesn't mean we're out of control. Clean now. Remember, first exercise, kind of start to load it, control it. Second exercise, complex, add a little plyometric, a little power to it. Third one, we get complex with the ability to add more strength. Dumbbell clean, nice wide base here. Always starts or ends in that flashlight position. Use your shoulders to help you and punch those arms up to the ceiling. So it's an RDL. We kind of go into a row here. I've heard this before. Shave your chest. So keep everything close and then punch your arms underneath. If you can get down that quarter squat, not only deactivate your glutes, hamstrings, and loading mechanics, you don't have to bring the dumbbells up as high, putting less stress on the shoulders and arms. Finish up your last couple reps here. 2 and 1. So because we're loading up the glutes, again, even more, and that loading mechanics, we're prepping ourselves for the, high impacts of running. Guys, everything's for a reason, these workouts. This is why I do what I do, and I try to be the best at it. Here we go, 45 seconds. Provide you guys with the best, I should say. Front squat here, so clean it up. Try to keep them up the whole time. As I mentioned a little bit briefly before, you want to push your palms, I keep saying your palms, but the bottom of your feet into the ground, keeping it flat. Mind-muscle connection, your big toe is pressing into the ground. All right, providing a nice base of support, kind of like that tripod stance with your big toe, your pinky toe, or your end metatarsal on the far outside of your foot, as well as your heel. If you're just placing on the heel, you become unbalanced. If you press your big toe on the ground, you get the glutes, hamstrings involved, I should say. Another 15 break. Now we go to the half windmill. Options here, you can split it up. If you just did one side before, feel free to stay on the same side. We're going back to the 30-30 before. Otherwise, you can switch it up to the opposite arm here. All right, as long as you get one round of 30 on both sides and one round of 45 on both sides, that's fine. Again, if you want to shorten the range of motion, go to your palm. If you want to extend the range of motion, go to your elbow. All right, but eyes always looking up as I look away. But press that palm up to the ceiling. Try not to have a bent elbow. If you don't have any pre-existing injuries or shoulder issues, that arm should be straight up in the air. Otherwise, grab a lighter set, or option for any of this is always just body weight, all right? This is not a hugely stressed strength movement here, all right? So we don't have to load it up with that much, or if anything, to get a lot out of it. Breathe, back to the band. Like I said, I was using the red band before to kind of give you guys the contrast between my clothing. I'm gonna use a black band now, a little strength here. Go heavy on this, all right? Love bands, a lot of different reasons. One of which, and the most popular reason for a lot of people, is the kind of accommodating resistance, meaning there's not really one resistance of that band, all right? For a couple of people, you know, I'm 6'2", almost 6'3", depending, you know, where this height measurement is going. The band, this black band, is going to be pretty heavy for me, challenging me, compared to someone who's, you know, 5'5", right, or 5'3". And as well as the band is one resistance on my shoulders, but as I press it above the head, it gets a little more challenging. As you see, my arms kind of wobbling back and forth. It requires you to stabilize a lot more, keep that neutral pelvis, kind of almost push your hips back, just like we did with the cleans. Last one here, that floor press. Remember, if you have a longer one, or the ability to do so, have your head rest on that foam roller, so you have a base of support there as well. Flat back, neutral spine. There is going to be a slight arch to the lower back. You know, that is fine when you're benching or pressing. It's actually going to help you out. Put your shoulders in a little bit stronger position. So don't worry about pressing that back down into your foam roller. Have your elbows, if you have the length of the arms and the range of motion, touch the ground, tap the ground before you come right back up. You can add a pause here. The longer we are in positions, in these loaded positions, the more mobility you get. All right? 2 seconds, last rep. 1, rest it up. We got another minute break. So mobility is your ability to move through the ranges of motion, you know, in a active way. Foam almost fell. Flexibility is moving how far you can do it in a passive way. So flexibility is think about, you know, bending down, touch your toes type thing. That's the type of stretching you do afterwards when your body's warmed, you know, after workout. Mobility is great, very, very different ways. It's popular in yoga, but I like to do it in strength training, you know, because we don't need so much of stretching, whether it's static or that mobility work, if you load yourself up properly and challenge yourself with different variations during your workout. You just spend an extra second or two down here. Your pecs get a stretch, chest get a stretch, your lats get a stretch, as well as your biceps, forearms, your wrist. Everything's kind of increasing their strength, range of mobility. And so it's a great way to add that mobility work into your strength work. Back to dumbbell to shrug, third round here. Now we're at 30 seconds. Again, a couple options. You can add a little speed here. You can add more weight even. 30 seconds, probably get a little bit less reps. You will get less reps than your 45-second period or even that first 30-second period. The reason why we go backwards, one, to add a little bit more rest in between each move, and two, so we can add a little bit more strength. 2 and 1. Traditionally, at least with my workouts, 45 seconds or under is really going to be pure strength work in these circuits. Definitely 40 seconds or under. And traditionally, I keep it 35 to 30 seconds. Focus on strength. Not a lot of reps, more quality, heavier, or challenging variations. The 45-second period like today, even though these are the same movements, go a little bit lighter, try to go faster, or get an extra rep or two. You can still build that strength because we're right on the cusp of strength and metabolic. Next one, dumbbell cleans. Hips back flat, RDL. Boom, pop, lock it in. Standing up tall, squeezing your hips, squeezing your butt and hamstrings. Breathing. I like to add a lot of breath work in. Breathe at the top, set down, control. Breath work is great because one, controls your heart rate under periods of stress, which is what we need when we're running or doing a lot of endurance sports or any sport in general, but also sets our diaphragm up in stronger positions to manage load, which otherwise might be compromising if you're moving all over the place. Windmill here, half windmill. I've been doing the windmill with the kettlebell the whole time. I had brought the kettlebell out just because a lot of you guys have mentioned you guys have kettlebells, so want to add some kettlebell complexity to it. There's a little chaos effect with kettlebells compared to dumbbells because the weight is in that ball shape. Make sure at least, even though it's not fully my workout and focus more on coaching, I should switch sides. All right, there's still plenty of mobility work for me here. As you see in that rep, I was showing you guys can end on your hand, but add a little bit of support with that palm rather than trying to reach down with that elbow. And it's a little tough to see. You can see my hips are coming back into that hinge, right, and out of that hinge. That's how we're getting that down to the ground, your elbow or palm down to the ground. That's why I loaded up with a little bit easier variations of the hinge before we got to the windmill, which is pretty challenging. Breathing, banded Y. Why? Because I said so. No, a lot of overhead mobility. Strength is important to contrast, a lot of variations where we tend to overload of the horizontal press, lying on our back, all right, or push-ups even. We want to add some vertical pressing as well. And like I said, especially with bands, because the band weight is changing resistance, a little harder to press up, easier to let go coming way down, so make sure you're staying controlled. There's a chaos effect here as well. Requires you to use your whole body here. Pull that band nice and wide to the top, get a nice wide stretch, get a stretch in your upper back, rear delts. Again, providing mobility during your strength sets. Last movement here, floor press with the foam roller. Last move in this 30-second round. Guys, we're almost through this workout already. Breathing. Yeah, so if you have a foam roller that doesn't go extend up to your head, trying to tuck your head obviously backwards and don't lift it up, just tuck that chin. Give yourself a double chin. All right, that's going to put your head at least in the strongest position it can for this movement here. So double chin. All right, so it's going to take the loading off your neck and spine. As you can see, if you kind of just let it hang, don't do it for too long, but you kind of feel like there's extra and more stress here. Breathing. Elbows touch the ground. Come right back. Breathing. Palms up to that ceiling. And rest it up. Nice and controlled down. Exploding on the way up. Or the concentric part of the movement. It's called compensatory acceleration. All right. Makes lighter weights or movements that you could probably load up heavier, all right, but with the lighter weights relatively, you can get more strength out of it. I don't know what I did here. There's 15 seconds. If you know what move I missed, I'm pretty sure, you know what? I think I missed a squat. Did I miss a squat, guys? As my clock goes out. Guys, I'm pretty sure I missed the front squat. 2 and 1. All right, we have a minute break here. Let's go back to the front squat. Hey, add a little chaos effect. We know we got 30 seconds. We had an extra 30-second break there. So let's get the front squat here. Hips back, back flat, chest is up. If you already did the front squat, do the one you didn't do. If you're looking at me like, what the WTF, Zach? I did everything right. You're all over the place. Thanks for understanding where we are. 2 and 1. Give yourself the last 30-second break. I get so excited about coaching and make you guys better, I tend to lose track, even if I have the monitor in front of me telling me what to do. Not doing a good job of Ron Burgundy yet. 15 seconds, last round. I will get everything right this time. 45 seconds worth of everything, of work, 15 break. Again, you can either add weight, add a little more speed, add a little more power. We're on the cusp of strength and metabolic here, so it's your choice which way you want to lean. You really can't go wrong either way, but now we got the RDL to shrug. Can't believe I missed one. I don't think I've done that in a really long time, if anything at all. That was a half-ass shrug. Earmuffs here, pulling those shoulders to your ears. Again, palms. I always say palms, but your feet are kind of like your hands. They are like your hands. Flat into the ground. Big toe into the ground. 15 seconds here. Breathe in. Remember, nice stretch. Really push back into those hamstrings, into that glute. And then pop up. Squeeze your butt like get a $100 bill there. You don't want to drop it. 3, 2, and 1. Rest it up. 15 break, a little bit shorter. Last round, we only have 5 exercises left. Dumbbell clean is next. Breathing, breathing, breathing. 3, 2, 1. Get hips back, back flat, chest up. Swing those dumbbells up into that front rack position, pushing those palms up to the ceiling. Get a nice, strong position with those dumbbells, your shoulders, your lats involved. Quarter squat here, glutes, hamstrings activated as well. 25 seconds. A few more reps. Breathe in, breathe at the bottom. Kind of breathe in, breathe out as you get that clean. Get a full breath in here, inhale, exhale, and reset those dumbbells down. And finish up that next rep. 5 more seconds. Last rep here. 3, 2, and 1. Rest it up. Squat. I won't forget about it this time. Dumbbell front squat. So like we did with the clean, you're pushing up on the dumbbells, triceps, lats involved, cores engaged a little more, wrist is in a stronger position. Do that here as well. And think about, if you've done thrusters before, or definitely shoulder presses, pressing those dumbbells above your head, but don't actually press them above your head. All right, you should feel a noticeable difference to the point where like, oh man, I probably can do 5, 10 pounds heavier than I'm used to because I'm involving my upper body into this traditionally lower body focused movement, even though there's a lot of core involved, whether you're pressing up or not. But the more you can create a full body effect, one more metabolic and stronger your body can become in a little bit stronger position, because as you add weight, you can add more control. 5 seconds, last rep here. 3, 2, and 1. Last one here, last set of 3, I should say, as we finish up our traditionally lower body focused movements. So we went from kind of contrasting movements, or actually competitive movements now, to contrasting with the upper body focus here. Clean the kettlebell or dumbbell up, press you above your head. Remember, go to your palm if you need to. Go to your elbow. You can even alternate between back and forth, kind of like a 1.5 rep type period as well. Gives you another way to increase your reps and the complexity without putting so much stress on the body where you can't complete towards the end. All right, there's time and place. I would say very few time and places, but definitely a time and place to end up on your back at the end of a workout. I like to end stronger than when I started, whether that's running or strength training here. 2 and 1, banded wide. I'll grab my red band and kind of show you guys the contrasting point against my black attire. Again, 2, 1, front racket, palms up. Try to get those elbows up if you have the range of motion. Otherwise, have them straight down. Wrists are nice, strong position. I was mentioning before, press definitely into that wide. Try not to end above your head, directly above your head. So pressing outside your shoulder width. All right, get a nice stretch in that upper back, shoulders as well. Kind of get a little more extra chest work here for the fellas. Hey, a little chest work for the females as well. Strong chest sets you up for strong breathing mechanics as well. 14 seconds. Breathing, breathing, breathing. Keep pause, definitely at the top of the exercise, top of the movement here. You're going to stress your shoulders because they're definitely fatigued from the RDL shrugs, the cleans, the squat, and just the windmill as well. Working all those tiny shoulder muscles. Last movement, then we're done for the day. We got the floor press. Grab your dumbbells. Again, if you have the ability, make sure the foam roller is on your forehead, or the back of your head, I should say. Otherwise, double chin it. And all else fails, if you haven't figured it out by now, you can just go on the ground. If you don't have access to a foam roller, breathing, breathing, breathing. Double chin here. Nice pause at the bottom. Good press at the top. Exploding at the top. 15 seconds here. Mind muscle connection. Think about that chest, those arms, the upper back. Last 10 seconds. Finish up. Give me one more rep, and then you're done for the day. 3, 2, and 1. Rest it up, and I actually have the rest. I ain't where I should be at the end of this workout. Didn't forget an exercise that last round, which is good. Now, when you do this workout again, you know, like, hey, Zach's gonna mess up in the third round. Let's make sure I don't mess up, you don't mess up, and you're on target. That's why you should do these workouts multiple times. All right, a good setup. You know, if you did it 3 days a week, it's like a Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It doesn't have to be those particular days, but add at least 1 day of rest in between. You can do this workout 3 times per week to get the most out of it. Before, I would definitely switch to a new workout on this platform, because the first time, just like we did this workout, first time you learn it, second time you start to own it, third time you master it. That's what we did here. You know, those 4 rounds we learned, we warmed up in the first round. We start to own it just a little bit in that third round. Then we went back to the fourth round where it's a little bit shorter, a little bit longer break. We have more time to prep ourselves so that each movement are coming. So we start to own it in that last round like we just did. We did own it, all right? Great work today. Get after it. Again, a few more times. Let me know how it goes. Let me know how we can make this workout a little more successful for you or success for you every single time you do it, because I'm here to make you better. Talk soon. See you next workout.